Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here at Tim's Nation. I am bringing my list that will be taking on Lane later this evening. Once again, we are sticking with the theme of AdMech, except now we're changing up some of the units a little bit. I have read the comments, I have seen what people have said, and it has resonated in my soul. So therefore, I am changing the dynamic I'm going with AdMech to try a different route with AdMech that will bring more damage to the table, more destruction, and some different units that I personally love very much. Speaking of comments and the table, I did also see many people were saying, hey, are you ever going to change up that terrain set? Well, today is the day, and we have this beautiful terrain set. Also, once again, one of Lane's creations with the perfect little placements for everything. I'm really looking forward to showcasing this. It looks really nice. I'm really happy with the overall setup. So looking forward to doing that. First things first, before I get into anything else, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do turn on the bell to get notified on all the content we bring here on the channel, including the actual battle when we get that game going later this evening, and to hear me rant about my work. Now, kidding, I don't rant about it that much, but I do throw it out there, and I throw it out this time because I'm really proud of myself. I had 2 back-to-back doubles, so I went open to close Saturday, open to close Sunday, open today, got home, cleared all the terrain off the table, got it packaged and put away, brought the new terrain, measured everything out, got my army photographed, and here I am ready to record before Lynn and I get our battle going. Very proud on that. Man, moved quick. All right, since I'm moving quick, let's move right over into the list because I know that with the minimal amount of time I've been here, the wife can definitely use my help. So let's talk about the AdMech that I'm going to bring in today. So here it is, and this is a change from what I have been bringing recently. I am going with the cybernetic cohort because cybernetic cohort equals robots, robots, robots. Castellan robots. That's what we're talking. All right, so the biggest thing for this detachment is that my robots will get Doctrina. That's it. There is also a slew of stratagems that target vehicles and vehicle-specific units to give stronger buffs for shooting and movement as well. And so that's a big focus. That's why we got a lot of vehicles. One big concern going into this already is what I give away for fixed secondaries in Bring It Down, as well as Assassinate, because of the amount of characters that I bring. That is one thing that does concern me. And we'll talk about that more when we get over to the unit that really sinks into the amount of characters that I'm bringing in and affects that the most. All right, so first, the non-vehicle, non-character-based stuff of the army. The infiltrators. This is the only non-character, non-vehicle in the army. 2 5-man squads of infiltrators. They infiltrate. They have stealth. I love these guys. I have gotten a lot better with them when I ran my other detachment. So I wanted to bring them in here. I feel more comfortable with them now than I did in earlier iterations when I ran the cybernetic cohort. And that's also another reason why I look forward to going back to this, is because the units that I have a different respect and feel for how AdMech plays. Now we'll jump over into the vehicles. So we have 3 single Dragoons. This is something I want to try. So each of the Dragoons hit actually pretty tough. I would be compelled to take them in one squad because there is a strat out of the cohort that allows me to get +3 move, +1 or +3 to my move characteristic on top of +1 to advance and charge. I could send a squad screaming into someone's face, and that is really cool. But there is a lot of things I want to do with command points in this army, and that may not be the best place to spend them. Without that, they are still very quick, very tough, and hit relatively hard. These guys are going to be like missiles, 65-point missiles, where I can send them into a target, hit something, and just do damage, and then they fall apart. But they're still relatively durable, so basic infantry might have a rough time with them if they get around to a flank to a unit that's just trying to hold an objective. On top of that, and holding objectives and secondaries, these guys will also be part of my secondary play that I have with the infiltrators as well. Now, moving on, we have 2 Onager Dune Crawlers. The Onager Dune Crawlers are going to be equipped with the neutron laser. I got it right this time because I need the higher damage output. Now, I did toy around with bringing the breachers in because breachers are really, really good for what their guns are. But they also then require the rangers. So the major investment is a lot more points than what I'm spending on the Dune Crawlers. Now, to deal with the accuracy, number one, if they sit still, they have the heavy ability, so they can get 3s to hit right there. We also have a character that's going to be making, I think, my 10th edition debut. I don't think I've run him yet. And that can give reroll ones to this unit. Hint, hint. On top of the fact that there is a stratagem that if these guys are damaged, that for 1 CP, I can give them full rerolls to hit. If you drop them below half strength, then they get full rerolls to hit and wound. Mostly I'm looking at the full rerolls to hit because that's very strong. They have a strength 16 weapon that is very strong, and it's got the high damage. So that's where I'm looking at for these guys to be able to hit that heavier high damage early to then allow something else like my robots to possibly finish off these bigger, tankier targets. Lane is bringing Votann tonight, so I will definitely get to test this out. Moving on to the Castellan robots. I know I said that so lightly, so let's do them a little better. Moving on, we have 10 Castellan robots, 10 of them. We're going to take 2 4-man squads of the robots. Then we have a 2-man squad. So one of the 4-mans will have all guns, hand cannons and all. I know that some people would say, well, wait, but why? Why not 1 fist, 1 cannon? Well, there's 2 reasons. One, that's not how I have mine modeled, and I'm not breaking them. Number 2, I actually do find that out of the cybernetic cohort, with a unit such as this, and some of the stratagems I have and abilities to be able to make them hit all the way, I can get them up to 2s in certain circumstances because one of the abilities changes their actual ballistic skill to a 3, then giving them +1 to hit. Being able to have armor contempt base in my deployment zone from the heavy doctrina, being able to potentially get cover from that same hidden unit, who could it be? As well as just with the rerolls and the hits and all that stuff in the defense. Now, when we get over to their guns, that low strength could be a problem. But being twin linked, I feel like I can get more damage out of those specific robots in the shooting side of things. Now, one of the squads will have 2 fists and 2 shooty. That's the other 4-man squad. And then the final 2-man squad is going to be just fists. All 3 of the squads will have their own tech priest, the data smith. Now, this is where the issue comes in. That data smith is a character. So right off rip, you're looking at a unit, all 10 of these robots, that if you destroy all 10 of them, that's 20 points on Bring It Down. Then the 3 characters that are attached to it, you're already looking at starting off at 12 points on Assassinate. So 2 more characters and you max it out. Well, I have more than just 2 characters. We have a Engine Seer. This Engine Seer is mostly just going to hang out with the Doomcrawlers, being able to give Feel No Pain, repairs, and everything like that. And we have a Techno-Archaeologist. Techno-Archaeologist has one job. Hang out in the backfield and not let things deep strike in. In some matchups, when I do see the read on a Hypercrypt or Grey Knight faction or someone else that can drop within 3, he may go into a more forward role, but just having him there to provide that 12-inch deep strike bubble, as well as the fact that he is very cheap at 45 points and could just hang out on my home field objective for the entire game if need be and pretty much zone it out. And now that puts me at a high character count right there. But we have one more. Last but surely not least, we are bringing Belzarius Call. This is the calling. Now, recently, we have seen Dark Angels do very well with the Dark Shroud, giving stealth to units nearby. Now I'm going to give Call a try. Call hits pretty hard with his standard beams, and he is medium to take down. He's not quite as tanky and defensive as he has been in other editions, but he does have Lone Op, which is all around one of the best ways to be defensive is if you just can't be shot at unless you get within 12. He also has the ability to give full reroll, reroll 1s as an aura, or the cover aura. These are the 2 big things I'm looking at. I look at the shooting aura into situations where I'm not going into a heavy shooting army, that I need to clear things quick and be accurate, and then keeping cover up for things that, well, are going to shoot at me. Seeing that into Iron Hands, even with the +1 to hit, and Oath of Moments and stuff like that, it was still relatively, it turned the tide for some of my Doomcrawlers to be able to be -1 to hit because of the Hunter's cohort with the Stealth to Skitarii units. So that pretty much is the list. There is one enhancement that I will be taking, and that is, I do not remember the name, but it is going to be on one of my data smiths, and it allows me to target a vehicle when it fails a save, has to be a failed save, and reduce the damage of that attack to 0. That's the only enhancement I'm going to take, and yeah, there's where we are.
Hey guys, DJ here. So I figured this was probably the easiest way to fix this as opposed to putting text over everything. If you've heard me already, you probably noticed a mistake that I may have made that, well, reading is difficult. And the best way to understand a unit is to actually read the rules of the unit and really actually read what they do. And that's what I didn't do. Because I was under the impression until this point that Belzeri's Call, one of his abilities, was to give stealth or -1 to hit, when it wasn't. It's to give cover. And I don't know how I messed that one up. I don't know how I misread that or mistranslated it. Maybe just trying to build rosters at 1 a.m. Maybe not the best idea. Maybe, get a little bit of sleep and then build an army. Probably the better idea. But at this point during the video, I was still under the impression that Belzeri's Call could be like similar to the Dark Shroud by being able to give stealth. That's not the case. So the good news is the point where I realized it was actually right as I was deploying. I went to look to see what the range of Call's aura was and if it required to be wholly within or just within. And so I looked at it and I'm like, oh, well, it's 6 inches, it's just within, but it's not stealth, it's just cover. So by the time of the game, before we even started, before I even deployed, I was able to see that it gives cover, not stealth. So this was addressed, this was fixed. So our entire game, Call was played right, no mistakes there on it. But yeah, it helps to actually read the units to know what they do. A couple of things, though, since I'm going to cut that out and throw it in there. Some of the concerns that I have with this list are going in is that fixed objectives could strongly hurt me. The robots alone are worth 20 points on Bring It Down. And on an opposite, then someone could take Assassinate, which all my characters in total put me at 24. And I believe I'm at 32 points for Bring It Down. So typically, I'm okay with being in that 20-24 column for both of those if it puts me at a point that you would have to table me. So this, unfortunately, you don't have to table me to get the max on Bring It Down because of how many I have. So that's kind of a little bit of a rough position and something I might address in the future to not allow those secondaries so easily. But as far as this goes, this is the list I'm going to try today because I definitely want to start looking at the robots more and what they can do and the damage they can do. I mean, they're very, very tough. And with the reduction of a lot of damage in the game right now, I think the robots could still do very well. It's just going to take some practice and figuring them out all entirely. All right, guys. Well, that's everything again. Sorry for that. Sorry that I misread the unit. But at least we caught it and corrected it before the game. So the game will be played in all of its integrity. Call will still be there. No changes. Call's going to stay there and play the whole game. And yeah, come check us out. It was a good game. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.